These are some of the very best fragrances that I own out of the 1,000+ bottles that are currently in my collection. And you gotta imagine that's a pretty hard thing to narrow it down to. Only 10 of them here. Now there could have been many more that I could have put in the list, but at some point you have to find a stopping point. I don't want the video to be running along to 40 or 50 or 60 different scents. I'm trying to narrow it down to 10. It's more of a challenge for me, and it's a lot more digestible for you guys. So if you're thinking about your next purchase and you've been watching my channel for a while and your taste aligns with mine, there's a pretty good chance that you would end up really liking a lot of these as well. I think that's the beauty of fragrance content in general, no matter where you're consuming it, if it's just forums or YouTube or TikTok or whatever, is that you can find people that your taste aligns with so they can help guide you to make your next purchase. So hopefully if you're sticking around, you have similar interests that I do in terms of what you look for, and this video might help you out. For me, these are all 10 out of 10s. They are amazing, and again, they're in this video for a reason. They are some of the absolute very best scents that I own. So I will drop links to all of these down below to discounters so you can pick some up. And the fact of the matter is, a couple of these might be a little bit harder to get, and that just kind of comes with the territory. I didn't want to exclude them because that would be unfair to the video. So if you want to have a chance at getting some of these that might be a little bit hard to get on the mailing list down below at the first link, or send a text to the number down below and they will pop up for you. Okay, let's actually get it kicked off with one of the ones that's a little bit tough. We'll just rip the band-aid off, get it out of the way. It's DIOR Homme Parfum. Now there's a reason why this one is so sought after. It's not just smoke and mirrors. It's not all hype and no delivery. This is one of the best designer fragrances on the market. It has iris, it has leather, there's a little bit of oud, there's some ambrette, which kind of gives off a chocolatey feel. This is basically DIOR Homme Intense, but amped up as far as you can possibly take it. And it is by far my favorite out of the entire line. It's a shame that it is so hard to get here in the US and Canada. I think overseas you guys are in the clear and you can get it anywhere. But for us, it's a bit of a challenge. Now, I'm not going to say that it's impossible because it's not. This one actually pops up with some sort of consistent regularity at discounters, and generally it's fragrance buy. Just within the past week, actually while I was on vacation, it popped up in a pretty large quantity. So a lot of you guys would have been able to get it at that time. And each time this one does come in stock, I send out an email and I send out a text allowing you the opportunity to get yours before it does go, and it does go pretty quickly. So yeah, DIOR Homme Parfum, one of my all-time favorites out of my entire collection. This is my original bottle. These are the old style 75 mLs. I also have the new style 100 as well, and there's no difference that is worth noting. So just get the new one whenever it becomes available to you. But by far, one of the best out of the entire designer market. We'll go with a niche one up next. It's actually XERJOFF Groove Escape. So it's got pepper, myrrh, cedarwood, cardamom, a lot of woods, a lot of warm spices. This one's very masculine, very mature, and I'll make a comparison to something like Rich Wood by XERJOFF, not necessarily in terms of straight up smell alone. Rich Wood focuses heavily on the patchouli accord, but I'm more so comparing the uses for the scent and the general vibe or feeling that I get. Rich Wood, as you could probably guess, it smells very rich, very luxurious, very masculine and more traditional. This one follows a very similar blueprint. So this is not going to be, you know, your typical scent that aligns with a lot of what's being put out these days. This is something a little bit more unique and truly more of a niche experience, and you would hope so because it does come with a decent price tag and it is a niche product after all. Twisted Lily actually sent this one over to me. Very kind of them. They asked me what I wanted to check out. This one caught my eye, and so they sent it on. They always hook us up here on the channel, and if you guys are looking for any niche and you want to get a bit of a discount, you can use my code CHAOS10 for 10% off of their website site-wide. If you're looking for something different, you want to change it up, and you want a very strong performing, woody, warm, spicy scent, definitely check this one out. It is a fantastic one, and it's become one of my favorite releases from XERJOFF. Next up, we have PRADA L'Homme Intense. Now, this is another iris scent, but it's a different take. It's nowhere near as extreme as DIOR Homme Parfum. This one does also have some leather, some tonka bean as well. Now, this one is simply a more rich version of the original PRADA L'Homme, which in and of itself is pretty much a 10 out of 10. I mean, it is a fantastic everyday scent for work and school and whatever you may be going to do. But I like this one better from a wearing experience standpoint because it is a little bit more interesting overall, and there is more to this one in terms of depth and richness and complexity. And again, this is one of my favorites out of the entire line. I've been saying that ever since I first got it and was able to really start testing it. And then there was a point where it became kind of discontinued and hard to get. Then I had to stop talking about it because no one could buy it. Now it's coming back. You can get this one, I believe, at the official PRADA website for retail, obviously. It's been popping up on discounters for a bit below retail. Again, each time it comes up, I send out an email and a text. It's no problem to get. So it's kind of working its way back in. You can get this one again, and I love it, and I highly recommend it. Next up, we have YSL M7. So this one's kind of gone through an interesting phase. All the way back in the day, it was YSL M7 and kind of a rectangular shaped bottle. I don't have an original bottle. It got discontinued. They had a couple flankers as well. And then some time went by and they started re-releasing it. Now, originally, they re-released it as M7 Oud Absolu in a black bottle, which I do have. And then they changed the packaging again and they changed the name. So they re-released it as M7 Oud Absolu, and now they just brought it back again as M7. As pictured here. No difference between the black bottle and this one and the names. That's the only difference is cosmetics and the name. So, what you buy on discounters now is likely going to be this one, or if you were to buy it at full retail. And when it comes down to wearable ouds, which is what I enjoy, this is one of my favorites. It brings in some orange and some myrrh and patchouli as well to kind of even it out. And even the oud compound in here is not too overbearing. This is one you can pull off for a bunch of situations in the cooler months, fall and winter. There is a little bit of a slight freshness to it, which adds to that versatility. One of my favorite ouds when I'm actually looking at something that I want to be able to wear. Now, this next one is expensive. It's definitely not something that a bunch of people need to go out and purchase. It's one of those things where you can get away with a sample, use it as a special occasion type of scent from a sample, or get a slightly larger travel size, which they do sell. Maybe there's clones of this one, I don't know. Full disclosure, because I know people are going to be wondering, I did actually buy this with my own money. I was not sent this for free. That would be nice, but I don't think the brand does that with this caliber of scent. From ROJA Parfums, it's Parfum de la Nuit number 3. Need to double check if I got the name right. Parfum de la Nuit number 3. Yep, I got it. It's got leather, incense, cardamom, and amber in here. So I've been eyeing one of these for years now. They have 1, 2, and 3. This is the third one. It's kind of the one that on paper looked the best to me, and it is truly a work of art. It's amazing. Smells incredible. It's rich, it's creamy, it's smooth, it's silky. There's so much going on in this that it really is a lot to even break down and begin to digest. And it's definitely something where you would need multiple wearings with it to really kind of figure it out. Now, I believe this retails for somewhere around $1,300 US, which is, again, it's crazy. It's quite ridiculous. I did not pay that. I paid just a little over half that price. So I was able to get a really good deal on it. Actually, a friend of mine in the community bought it, and then he didn't want it anymore, and so he gave it to me for a good deal. I think I paid right around $600-ish and some change, maybe a little bit more. And that's still an incredible amount of money, but I couldn't pass it up. So here it is, and it worked out. It was a blind buy, as I always do, and it worked out. I really like it a lot. I don't wear it a ton just because it is so expensive, but the times I do wear it, and that was kind of this past winter and fall, I really enjoyed it, and it truly is definitely something that I love to have in my collection and that I will have around forever. It's that good. I'm not going to be getting rid of this stuff. Okay, next up we have Luna Rossa Black by Prada. Going back down to earth here with the pricing. Discounter-wise, right around $97 to $100 pretty consistently for 100 ml. It's got a tonka bean and amber. It's basically all you need to know. Very dusty, very powdery. You know, this has existed in a couple different scents over the years, this DNA rather. First, it kind of started out as Bulgari Black, a little hockey puck-shaped bottle, discontinued. Midnight in Paris, very cool, beautiful bottle, which I don't own, unfortunately, got discontinued. Okay, and those were following a very similar blueprint to this. Now we have it here in this Prada. Very powdery, rich, dusty. It smells beautiful. I love it. It's one of my favorites from the entire Luna Rossa line. It definitely stands out and is significantly different than all of the others, and that's why it's one of my favorites. Okay, moving over to something more suited for summertime. You know, it's in full effect, and yeah, a lot of these really trend in the cooler months because that's kind of where my real passion is, I guess, for scents now. I started off only liking freshies and aquatics. Now it's transitioned to where some of my all-time favorites really are those heavy, rich winter scents. And I think that happens to a lot of us over time. The freshies, the aquatics, they're easy to get into, easy to like, but you kind of start to want more. But I digress. This one is perfect for this time of year. It's ACQUA de Joe Parfum. Now, yeah, it's a new release. Why is it in here already? Because it takes place of Profumo. The DNA is very similar. There's a couple minor differences. I've covered it just real quick. Less of the grassy green opening here, and instead of incense, they're using an olibanum with that patchouli. Those are the differences. It's all you need to know. But it still is essentially ACQUA de Joe Profumo, just tweaked, and they're basically kind of focusing on simplification of the line. Now they have an EDT, an EDP, and a Parfum. I'm sure that maybe the Profumo thing might have confused some people and messed with their flow a little, so now it's easier to understand and it's laid out right for you. You can choose the intensity based off of what you want. And this one definitely is the most intense of the entire lineup, and that's why I like it so much. It's a smoky summertime scent that I have loved for years, and when it was Profumo, and I will continue to love it and really reach for the new Parfum now as something different going forward until maybe they discontinue this or something. Okay, we'll go with another one that's more affordable for the cooler months of the year. It is Mercedes-Benz Club Black. It's all about the vanilla, the benzoin, and a little tinge of a sparkly ambroxan. It's all about the vanilla though, first and foremost, and you have to be a fan of vanilla heavy scents to even have a chance at liking this one. It's syrupy, it's sweet, it's kind of far from masculine. You know, it's not your traditional masculine scent, so that's another thing that you have to be aware of. For me, I love vanilla scents, whether it's at the forefront or just being used as a supporting note behind everything else, and so I really enjoy this one. And when it comes down to it, this is, you know, $45 to $55 on discounters. Testers are nice because nothing changes with the bottle. There's no cap or anything. It might say tester on the back somewhere, but that's not an issue. And you could save a bit of money by going that direction, and you can get it for a great price. There aren't that many vanilla focused scents on the market in this price range that are as good as this one, so it definitely stands out. Another one for summertime, we have Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Italian Love. I love everything about this one. It's all about the grapefruit, the bergamot, the ozonic notes, the violet leaf. I like this one because there's more support to the grapefruit. You know, the original Forever has grapefruit first and foremost, everything else follows behind. The bergamot in this one comes up right behind that grapefruit to add some support, add some variety, and kind of take away some of the impact and some of the overbearing punch that you get from that grapefruit that a lot of people didn't really enjoy in Forever. It's tamed down here, and I think that was a good move. For me, I could swap between both of them and be happy either direction. There's never going to be a time where I wear this one and I would have wished I would have worn the other and vice versa. As long as I have this DNA on my skin from one of these two, I'm happy. And I think this one is one that's a little bit easier to recommend because it is more balanced. It is absolutely perfect for this time of year. When it's super hot and humid, this one is refreshing and it smells great. And we'll finish this one off with AZZARO Wanted by Night. I've had this one around ever since it first came out, and it has been a staple in a lot of people's collection over the past years, and definitely mine, especially for wintertime right around the holiday season. It's great. It's got cinnamon, tobacco, fruity notes, and things like that. It smells really nice. Has some of that original DNA in here, but it's warmed up, it's spiced up, and it smells even better. At this point, we've had quite a few flankers thereafter, but this still remains one of my favorites, and I guess the second favorite would be the Most Wanted Parfum, which does take a different direction as well, but it really is hard to beat just the OG Wanted by Night. This one really kicked off the hype for this line, in my opinion, and I think it deserves the recognition that it has gotten over the years, and I hope to continue to see this one available. It's been a little bit iffy on discounters lately. I hope that's not a bad sign. Fingers crossed this one sticks around. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. 10 of the very best fragrances in my collection out of my 1,000 plus bottle collection. If I had to choose my favorites, these are it right now. And again, some could have been swapped in and replaced, but these are the ones that are really standing out to me and have been for a while. Again, links will be down below, and for some of the ones that are harder to get, DIOR, PARFUM, PRADA, L'Homme Intense, get on the mailing list and send a text to the number down below, and I promise you when they come in stock, I will notify you and you will have your chance to get yours. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.